In the late 1980s, a shadow fell over Atlanta. A series of brutal murders targeting women sent a wave of terror through the city, leaving a community paralyzed with fear. The killer was methodical, ruthless, and seemingly invisible. This is the story of Lyndon Fitzgerald Pace, the man whose dark legacy would haunt Atlanta for years, and the gripping investigation that finally brought him to justice. Our story begins in 1987, in a city still grappling with the memory of the Atlanta child murders. A new nightmare was unfolding. It started with the discovery of 21-year-old Stephanie Williams. Her death was horrific, a clear sign that a violent predator was on the loose. The police were on high alert, but they had no idea this was just the beginning of a terrifying killing spree. As the months went on, the body count rose. Another victim, then another. The pattern was chillingly similar: women brutally murdered in their own homes. The killer left little evidence behind, earning him the moniker the first day of the month slasher because his attacks often coincided with the beginning of the month, a time when many people paid their rent in cash. This detail suggested a motive beyond pure violence. Robbery was part of his brutal signature. The community was gripped by fear. Women were afraid to be alone. Locks were changed, security bars were installed, and a sense of unease permeated daily life. The Atlanta Police Department faced immense pressure. They were dealing with a cunning and elusive killer who seemed to be one step ahead at every turn. Was this the work of a single individual or a copycat? The questions mounted, but answers were scarce. Investigators worked tirelessly, chasing down every lead, no matter how small. They interviewed hundreds of people, analyzed what little forensic evidence they had, and created a profile of their suspect. He was likely familiar with the apartment complexes he targeted, possibly living or working nearby. He was bold, yet careful, able to gain entry and overpower his victims without raising alarm. The breakthrough the police desperately needed came from an unexpected place. A survivor, a woman who had fought back against her attacker and lived to tell the tale. Her courageous testimony provided investigators with their first real description of the killer. This crucial piece of information, combined with advancements in forensic science, started to connect the dots. The police had a suspect in their sights: Lyndon Fitzgerald Pace. Pace was not a stranger to the locations of the crimes. In fact, he had worked as a maintenance man at one of the apartment complexes where a victim lived. This gave him access, knowledge of the layouts, and an understanding of the residents' routines. He fit the profile perfectly, but having a suspect and proving his guilt were two different things. The case against him needed to be airtight. The key that would unlock the entire investigation and definitively link Pace to the string of murders was DNA. At the time, DNA evidence was a relatively new tool in law enforcement, but it was powerful. Samples collected from the crime scenes over the years were meticulously preserved. When they were finally tested and compared to Pace's DNA, the results were undeniable. It was a match. The invisible man who had terrorized Atlanta for so long finally had a face and a name. In 1989, Lyndon Fitzgerald Pace was arrested. The trial that followed was one of the most high-profile cases in Georgia's history. The prosecution laid out a mountain of evidence. They presented the chilling pattern of the murders, the survivor's harrowing account, and the irrefutable DNA link. They painted a picture of a cold, calculated killer who preyed on vulnerable women for his own twisted gratification and financial gain. The defense tried to argue that the evidence was circumstantial, that the DNA could have been contaminated. But the weight of the evidence was overwhelming. The jury listened intently as the prosecution detailed each crime, each life cut short. The stories of Stephanie Williams and all the other victims echoed through the courtroom, demanding justice. After a long and emotional trial, the verdict came in: guilty. Lyndon Fitzgerald Pace was convicted of murder and sentenced to death. The families of the victims finally had a measure of closure, though the pain of their loss would never fade. The city of Atlanta could finally breathe a collective sigh of relief. The reign of terror was over. The case of Lyndon Fitzgerald Pace stands as a landmark in criminal investigation. It highlights the critical importance of police work, the courage of survivors, and the game-changing power of forensic science. It's a stark reminder of the darkness that can exist, but also a testament to the relentless pursuit of justice that ensures such darkness does not prevail. The memory of the victims lives on, a solemn reminder of the human cost of such senseless violence. This story is not just about a serial killer. It's about the resilience of a community and the dedication of those who fight to protect it. It is a powerful example of how science and determination can unmask even the most elusive of monsters. Thank you for watching. If you found this story compelling, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into true crime history. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one.